President Joe Biden has issued some strong words for the state of Texas, which has effectively blocked all abortions from taking place. Now, the language in the law that just took effect on September 1st bans abortions past 6 weeks, but 85 to 90% of women don't even know that they're pregnant at that point. Now, Biden called the law's novel enforcement structure, which allows private citizens to bring civil suits against anyone who assists a pregnant person seeking an abortion, a bizarre scheme with the potential to unleash unconstitutional chaos. He continues to write in a statement, complete strangers will now be empowered to inject themselves in the most private and personal health decisions faced by women. Now, the question is, what is the executive branch planning on doing? What are congressional Democrats planning on doing? Remember, Democrats have majorities in both the House and the Senate. Obviously, Joe Biden is a Democrat. He controls the executive branch. So they do have some options. But Biden was vague when he said this. He said he was launching a whole of government effort to respond to the law, tasking the Department of Health and Human Services and the Justice Department to see what steps the federal government can take to ensure that women in Texas have access to safe and legal abortions. He said the effort would be led from within the White House, but he didn't really offer any other details. And that's concerning because it sounds a lot like what he issued in the form of an executive order with the problem of gun violence in the United States. I am going to fund a commission to study gun violence. In this case, he's talking about, I'm tasking the Department of Health and Human Services and the Justice Department to see what steps the federal government can take. It's really not that difficult. One of the easiest steps is do away with the filibuster in the Senate and codify the ability for women to have abortions in this country safely. Because federal law obviously supersedes state law or local law, but is he willing to do that? That's the question. Are Democrats willing to do away with the filibuster in the Senate?
Okay, so he says it's a whole of government effort. Well, that's just not true. And so your strongly worded letters are enormously uninteresting to people who actually care about the news, which of course then excludes all the rest of the media, which all applauded. Joe Biden with strong words, everybody. He really means it. No, this is how you really mean it. I'm gonna push Manchin and Sinema to end the filibuster immediately. If they don't, there will be tremendous consequences. I will do every effort I have to end their political careers, and I've got a lot of effort. And so, and we're gonna end the filibuster and we're going to pass Roe v. Wade. By the way, Roe v. Wade is, I've said this before, I have some constitutional issues with how that case was decided, but it's excellent legislation. It's exactly what I would want in legislation. It's still illegal in the third trimester because then it's an independent human being.
Unless it threatens the woman's life.
That's right. Yeah. And so as long as it's viable and it's independent, no problem. But until then, there's a gradation system and it allows for women to actually make the decision when it is not independent. Okay, so you could pass that tomorrow. They make it sound like it's impossible. Oh, we're gonna look really deep into the Library of Congress to find a way to do this. No, you just go, filibuster's over, Roe v. Wade is national law, period. Look guys, we do tons of nuance on the show, you've seen it, right? This one's actually really simple. Are they gonna do that? No, because, well, what would the parliamentarian think? So they have prioritized the goddamn filibuster, something that isn't in the Constitution at all. It was like a loophole that was created to fight against civil rights and anti-lynching laws. They killed anti-lynching laws with the filibuster. I'm serious. So that relic, that stupid loophole in the Senate is going to prevent you from doing anything to protect women? What the hell did we elect Democrats for?
Look, are we really surprised? The filibuster, as long as it remains in place, and it looks like it will remain in place, will destroy the political careers and the political future of the Democratic Party. Remember, there are voter suppression laws being passed in various red states to ensure that the future elections are rigged in favor of the Republican Party. And Democrats, now that they have control of both Congress and the executive branch, can do something about it. But they refuse to do so because the one thing they would need to do to pass something like the For the People Act, or even the Voting Rights Act, which is a scaled down version of the For the People Act, they need to do away with the filibuster, and they're unwilling to do that. They're like engaging in political suicide as we speak.
So no, their incompetence and honestly their impotence is immeasurable. So think about the logic of what they're saying. Oh, some guy invented just a rule in the Senate 150 years ago or so. And I respect him more than I respect all the women in Texas.
Or all my voters.
Or my voters. Or, anti-corruption measures that are being blocked, $15 minimum wage, even though Democrats don't want it. And of course, as you know, that's what it always comes back to. So they're not even willing to give women equal rights because they're worried if you get rid of the filibuster, oh my God, your wages might go up and their corporate donors will be pissed. So Joe Biden says, oh, I don't want to piss off my donors. So I'm going to ask for permission from the Republicans. He's literally saying this. So if you don't end the filibuster, you literally have to ask permission of the Republicans to get anything done. And shockingly enough, the Republicans have not given permission for anything to pass. And so, except an infrastructure bill that's totally watered down and designed to benefit
corporations,
both their donors, the Republican and Democratic donors. So guys, the only reason why you don't know this, if you didn't know it, is if you listen to and read mainstream media. They never tell you that. That's actually what's happening in politics. So Joe Biden will not do a goddamn thing about this law. He could do it super easy, so could Pelosi and Schumer. None of them will do a thing. Their words are hollow and completely meaningless, and they will screw you over. They'll screw over their own voters, and then when they lose, they'll blame Bernie Sanders. And we've seen this cycle now for about a decade.
That's exactly right.
In fact, today on Twitter, everybody's blaming Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
What the hell did he do? Oh, I don't know, man. If he was, maybe if we ended democracy in the primaries, then Hillary would have won in a coronation and she would have been our queen. And then she could have run the worst campaign in the world, but she did. But she already won. She already won the primary. She went in the general election and, well, it should have just been handed to her. She was the worst candidate. You guys were wrong. And you screwed us all.
That's right.
We told you, we warned you. People don't like her, not because she's a woman, etc. Some of that exists, but mainly because she's establishment. She's an elite, and they hate that. They saw her take all the money from the banks. They saw her change her vote to go for the banks. The media's a bunch of liars, and they covered her ass the entire time, but people knew anyway. And you blew it. You blew the Supreme Court. You lost to an idiot.
I mean, refusing to campaign in key battleground states. I get the frustration over what the country is experiencing right now. I understand it wholeheartedly. But really, Hillary's not gonna take any responsibility for the awful campaign she ran? Okay, fine. But look, I'm not really interested in relitigating what happened in 2016. We have to look at what's ahead of us, what's in front of us right now. And Democrats have control of Congress. So what are they gonna do about it? That's the question. No more patty cakes with Sinema dressing like, I can't stand Sinema. I can't stand it. But here's the thing, LBJ, he didn't play patty cake. Sometimes he did. Sometimes he realized, all right, let me use some carrots. But when he used sticks, he brought the biggest stick and was willing to threaten, to bully, to do what was necessary to get the Civil Rights Act passed. Okay, we need that kind of hardball among the Democratic Party right now, because there's no more time to waste. And it goes beyond abortion laws, okay, which are already incredibly important to deal with. I mean, New York is flooded today. We don't have time to waste. Climate change is here, it's here. So what are we gonna do about it? Joe Manchin today talking about how like, oh, I don't know, we need to pause on that $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill, which is the bill that includes all the climate action provisions.
Yeah.
Biden, what are you doing? I don't want your strongly worded letters. I don't care about strongly worded letters. The Republicans don't care about it, and these conservative Democrats in the Senate certainly don't care about it either. What are you gonna do to break their backs? That's what he needs to do.
So, last couple of things here on that issue. Airlift the women out, okay? So now Texas is basically a religious state. And so they don't believe in the Constitution. They have molded church and state. The United States Constitution says you shall not establish a religion, and here they have. If you don't, for example, I am not Christian. I don't believe any of the things that they believe about abortion, and I don't want to follow their religious rules. And Texas is saying, I don't care what you think. I'm going to impose our religious views on all the citizens. No matter you're a Jew, I don't care. You're a Muslim, Buddhist, you're atheist, I don't care. You will live under Christian rule. They say they're proud of it. They're proud of it. We think Yahweh should rule us all. And so we need to airlift those women out, the poor women. The rich women, rich Republican women are going to get abortions till the cows come home. They're just going to fly to wherever they like. Oh, I do. Should I go to San Francisco or Paris to get my abortion? But let's have brown and black women suffer and poor people suffer and not be able to get it and maybe get a back alley abortion and endanger themselves. Well, then airlift them out. We need to get them to freedom because Texas is no longer free. We need to get those women to a free state. Now, you could avoid all that if Joe Biden was an actual leader. But you know he's not. And this is indisputable, guys. He is saying, I care about the Republicans more than I care about my own voters. Because by not ending the filibuster, he's saying it's so important to me to work with my Republican colleagues. And it's way more important than women's rights, voting rights, or any other rights. I don't care about you voters. I just care about Mitch McConnell. That's what Joe Biden's saying today. That's a fact, it's an uncomfortable fact. He could turn around, he could fight. But to this moment, he's not just not fighting on the filibuster, he thinks the filibuster should stay in place. He has the same position as the Republicans. That's who Joe Biden is. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.